guys, the cat's out of the bag. We have yet another release from Minelab in what has already been an insane 12 months. Last summer, we were greeted with the news of the Minelab Manticore. In December, we saw new Equinox models, the 700 and 900, shortly followed by the x-terra Pro. And now we have a new pinpointer. Now, I don't know about you guys, but this is something that I was hoping for over the last couple of years, and I am very, very excited about it. But I think I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, so how about we go back in time to a couple of weeks ago when I got a package all the way from Australia. It's here! Yay! Let me go out and sign for it. And there it is. Now, I'm gonna unbox it, obviously. I was just excited to see this on the packaging. I've never tested anything for any company, so this is really super exciting. And we have the Pro-Find 40. Let's get rid of some of this bubble wrap. Boom. The Pro-Find 40, the very first look, right off the cuff. I am so happy they changed this color to red. I always thought it should be red. I always thought that it was weird that the pinpointers were black and orange. Okay, well maybe it was originally yellow, but it's kind of orange now. When our colors are black and red, let's see what we've got. It says on the box, increased depth 10% more, adjustability sensitivity 5 levels, rapid retune on-demand calibration, we'll get into that a little bit later, lost alarm, ferrous tone ID, we are familiar with that with the Pro-Find 35, and DIF technology, protect performance, waterproof up to 3 meters, audio and vibration LED flashlight, of course, holster and lanyard included, and battery included. Let's whip this open. Okay. Oh, no, there's more tape. Started filming too soon. I wanted to be all classy and just open up the box, but, you know, I can't manage that. If you want to take a quick look there and pause the screen to read the packaging, be my guest. And now, let's get it on out of there. All right, very good. So we have our little instruction manual here. I am expecting more materials from Minelab so we can take a look at the full instruction manual. Our safety warnings here, I'm sure. And the main event, the pinpointer already in its holster. Oh God, that is beautiful. Let's get it out of here. And while I'm at it, let me get some of this junk out of the background so it's not ugly to look at. Ooh, okay. Here we go. Bum, 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 bum. That is beautiful. Do we have some juice? Oh, no, we don't. We have to put the battery in. But yeah, on first glance, very happy. Nice, substantial feel to it. Oh, I cannot wait to use this. Now, I can tell you right away that I noticed improvements in both stability and detection depth when I was using this out in the field. But I want to take a close look at some of the features that are either unique to the Pro-Find 40 or were improved upon from the 35, which, if you didn't know, is currently Minelab's top-of-the-line pinpointer. Well, I mean, until today. So let's talk about that claim of 10% more depth that we saw on the box. Now this is where we need to whip out the Pro-Find 35 so that we can run some comparisons side by side with the Pro-Find 40. Let's get into it. Okay, so I've grabbed a ruler, I made myself some markers, and I'll tell you how those are going to come into play. And I've also got targets of various sizes. I've got a colonial shoe buckle, a silver quarter, cufflink, Roman coin, and a colonial copper. And what I'm going to do to make this fair is I'm going to put the 35 on maximum sensitivity, as well as the Pro-Find 40. So let's turn this on. And when you have an elongated tone like that, it means you're either all the way up or all the way down. Now that setting will hold, so I'm going to turn that off. And now let's fire up the Pro-Find 40. Okay. It's also on maximum sensitivity. Okay, so we're going to start off with the largest target for this test. Just start easier and go more and more difficult. We will work our way down to a teeny tiny colonial cufflink, but for now it's the shoe buckle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the 35, and I'm going to use these markers to mark off where we start to hear that pulsing tone versus where we get a solid tone. Okay. All right, that was right about here. More or less, not going to be perfect, guys, but I'll try. And I don't think we even need that second arrow because you have to be right on top of it to get that solid pulse. So now let's fire up the Pro-Find 40 and see where we end up. That's where it pulsed before. It's a little bit more. Maybe like a few millimeters or so, not a huge difference. Now let's see where we get a solid tone. Oh, that's a big difference, actually. It's a big difference, at least to me. It's about 1/2 inch. Okay, so again, here we're going to start off with the 35. See where it begins to pulse. All right, basically at the 1/2 inch mark, so actually we don't even have to move that. And now where are we going to get a solid tone? I think I know. Yep, you got to be right on top of it. Okay, and again, let's whip out the 40. See where it pulses. Right about 1 inch. Okay. And where we get a solid tone. A couple millimeters. Okay, I put away the copper coin. This isn't much smaller, so I don't know if it's really worth doing, but we're still going to try. Again, 35. All right, was that right about here? Right? Let's try it again. Yeah, a little bit closer. Something like that. And again, you have to be right on top of the target for it to give you that solid pulse. Okay, moving on to the 40. Right about here. Check it again. Yep. So actually, like with the 35, you have to be really, really close to that one as well. But we definitely heard it further away. Okay, moving down the line. We have a Roman coin that was gifted to me. Put that there. Again, hopefully this isn't getting too redundant for you guys, but 35. All right, so let's see. Right about there, was it? Yep, and you basically have to be right on top of it for that solid pulse. Back to the 40. Okay, that was right around here, I believe. Try it again. Yep, let's see where it gets solid. Don't have to be quite as on top of it, but you have to be pretty darn close. Right, so I think we're starting to see a pretty good pattern here. It looks like we're getting almost a 1/2 inch difference in some cases. Let's put this through the ringer, though, and we're going to go down to the colonial cufflink. Okay, move that guy out of the way. And I suspect both pinpointers will struggle a bit more with that, as is to be expected. Okay, 35. Yeah, that's negligible. Okay, and again, on to the Pro-Find 40. Well, that's definitely a difference. You have to be pretty darn close to it. But let's try it again real quick. Actually, it's closer to like ½ an inch. Yeah, that's a difference. Now, if you're already familiar with the Pro-Find 35, you know that it has Ferrous Tone ID. But let's dive into this topic for those who may not be aware of this feature, because it's also available on the Pro-Find 40. Ferrous Tone ID discriminates iron, which is indicated by either a solid tone for a non-ferrous target, or a broken tone for ferrous targets. Now, I should mention, if you choose to use this solely in vibration mode, when Ferrous Tone ID is enabled, those vibrations will follow the same patterns as the tones. A solid vibration for a non-ferrous target, and a broken up vibration for a ferrous target. Now, if you're anything like me and enjoy hunting old home sites that are just riddled with a carpet of nails, this feature comes in very handy. The reason being, well, it should be obvious, you're more than likely to find several nails in some cases, along with your desirable target in the same hole. So it would be fair to say that Ferrous Tone ID is definitely a time saver. And if for any reason you don't want to use that Ferrous Tone ID feature, you can turn it off and you'll receive a solid tone for both ferrous and non-ferrous targets. Okay, let's get this out of the way because I'd be lying if I said that this wasn't the elephant in the room. The Pro-Find 35 is a good pinpointer, but it has received some mixed reviews from the peanut gallery that makes up our metal detecting community on social media. So this was an area of improvement that Minelab took the opportunity to resolve, and they did so brilliantly. Now, although this is almost impossible to show in a video because I'd have to create a scenario where the Pro-Find 35 can act erratically, I did experience a noticeable improvement with the Pro-Find 40 when I was out in the field, and that's a win for me. Part of the reason that the new Pro-Find 40 is more stable can be accredited to the last feature that I want to discuss, which also happens to be my favorite. One-button rapid retune, a brand new feature unique to the Pro-Find 40. But before we hop into the details of that feature, I have a question for you. What's the first step that you should take when troubleshooting an electronic that's acting up? Anybody? Congratulations, if you said turn it off and turn it back on again, you're about twice as tech savvy as a lot of the people I know. With one-button rapid retune, Minelab's made this process shorter, meaning you don't have to turn it off and turn it back on again in order for it to recalibrate, which is awesome. Because let's face it, I don't know a single detectorist who hunts with a pinpointer that doesn't have to turn it off and turn it back on again from time to time if it's acting up. With the Pro-Find 40, well, it's on. For whatever reason, it's not behaving the way you want it to, and you're facing challenging ground conditions, all you have to do is tap the power button, and it's recalibrated. I don't know about you, but that seems to be a big time saver to me. And I actually have a name for this feature that I use in the field, but for the G-rated sake of this review, how about we just call it the quiet down button? Now, another thing I love about Rapid Retune is that it can really help you hone in on those targets that you can't see after you flip the plug open, either because they're deeper down in the ground than you anticipated, or you totally missed and it's in the sidewall. For example, let's say that you can hear a target and you know you're close, but you want to get a better idea of exactly how close. Let me show you how to do that. Turn on the Pro-Find 40. Okay. Here's your target. We kind of hear it everywhere. And while you're close, tap the power button. Boom, it's quiet. That's what I call hyper pinpoint mode. My own terminology, not Minelab's. But I do find that to be a clever little trick, so add that to your toolbox of knowledge. And now let's answer a few FAQs that I know are probably on your mind. No. Instead, the Pro-Find 35 will remain in the lineup at a reduced price. The Pro-Find 40 is $139 USD. Sorry, but no. Although personally, I've never found a need for that feature because I always use a pinpointer that actually vibrates too. So, just my 2 cents. Right now, so you can reach out to your dealer of choice in the coming days if you would like to purchase one. So in closing, I would say this is a good option for your next pinpointer if you have one that's on its way out, it's a few years old, whatever the case may be. Or, hey, maybe you just want to try something new. And then of course there's always the crowd that wants to be decked out in nothing but Minelab gear. What? Anyway, I really hope that you guys have enjoyed this exclusive first look at the Pro-Find 40 from Minelab. In my opinion, it's a noticeable improvement from the Pro-Find 35 and definitely worth considering for your next pinpointer. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank Minelab for inviting me to be the first person to share this with you. It really means a lot to me and I could not be prouder to represent, in my opinion, the best metal detecting manufacturer in the industry. So that's going to wrap it up. If you've enjoyed this video, be on the lookout for subsequent videos from me on Minelab products and, of course, metal detecting adventures. Take it easy, and we'll see you next time.